Have you checked the children? You're a little mad sometimes.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Sometimes that is better.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil, Laird.
I'm Ruxpin.
Robert Jaime and Fuego here.
And we are back here in a new studio setup. There'll probably still be some adjustments. I want to put some more stuff up here, but this is where we're going to be doing a lot of our stuff from this point on. Guys, we are here to do a few reviews, catching up, and starting with the second season of Doom Patrol. So this was a show that debuted on the DC Universe app and has migrated over to HBO Max. The review for season 1 just went up the day we recorded this here in November, even though we all watched it a little while back. So here we are to actually go ahead and review the second season, and we'll do it like we do our normal reviews, talk about our overall thoughts, the story, the acting, the effects, all that good stuff in turn. And I gotta say, even though this was a truncated season, it went from 13 episodes in season 1 down to 9 episodes in season 2.
16 actually.
Oh, 16, season. You're right,
Yeah.
16, thank you, yeah. So that's a healthy amount less, almost half as much. But I gotta say, I still very, very much enjoyed the second season. I think a lot of the story arcs I actually preferred to the first season, or at least how they evolved and how they were focused on. Some of them a little bit less so, but for the most part, I was really impressed. I don't think the villain was quite as engaging as the villain in the first season. However, overall, I really dug this season as well. Marcia?
I agree. I think they have done a fantastic job with this franchise, and I'm excited to see where it goes. But season 2 really brought you to the next level, and I think that's why I love these series, is because, like, other than another one that we compared it to, it actually grows. The characters are growing. You get to they expand on their stories. You learn more about their backstories, which helps them move forward in their current stories, and they find a way to connect each other and to find themselves within each other. It's just so cool because it's so organic. The writing's really organic. The acting's really organic. And it's beautifully shot, and when you finally do get those, like, really aha moments, it's a great payoff, and it's so much fun. I enjoyed it.
Most definitely, and a little bit it's going to kind of be, again, echoing off of both of these guys and everything, is, the story in season 2 was phenomenal. I love the fact that we had more in depth on especially Cliff's character, and then along with, goddamn, I'm drawing a blank on his name right now. Larry,
yeah.
Jesus Christ, yes, Larry. But there was a bittersweet kind of thing with him and whatnot. But with the development of certain characters, and almost there's a time, like, a couple of them almost had, like, some regressions on their supposed development, which it bugged me. On one female character in particular, I thought they really wasted some potential of what could have been in this season. Although I did like what they did with the introduction of
Dorothy?
Yeah, Dorothy. Yes, I loved her. She was a sweet little kid, but at the same time, you didn't know what the hell to expect. Really, that's all I'm going to kind of touch on there. Fuego?
Cool. I'm glad that I kind of took a break between the first season and the second season, because it would have been just one stream of consciousness if not. I didn't like this season as much, but I did still really enjoy it. I think one of the biggest things was I missed the meta-ness of Alan Tudyk a whole lot. That just really brought a different sort of feel to the show. They dipped their toe into it here and there, but positives though, Dorothy was sympathetic, engaging, and kind of tragic to a degree as well. I like that we got more Timothy Dalton as Niles. They expanded upon his character because he was, like, here and there in the first season, and obviously Cliff and Larry specifically. Cyborg not as much, and also not as much as I wanted from Rita or Jane, but the two guys with their, like, issues with their children were really compelling to me, especially.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Jane was my favorite part of the whole season.
See, there you go. That's why it's good to have these multiple perspectives. So, diving into the story, it's just frankly more of the same from season 1. It's just further character development for these misfits, this kind of ragtag X-Men sort of group led by a man in a wheelchair. Professor Niles Calder, and so it's just continuing the stories literally from season 1 in so much as it picks up right where season 1 left off. At the end of season 1, most of Doom Patrol has been shrunk down, And so the story has to pick up from there and then develops from there. And Dorothy and her unpredictability is sort of the central focus of the season. However, we get a lot of people coming back as our characters are progressing. So yes, Crazy Jane is dealing with things after the finale. Larry, aka the Negative Man, is dealing with things after the finale. Cliff, of course, is dealing with things after the finale. And Niles himself is dealing with things after the finale, probably more than anyone, because he's so directly tied into the Dorothy of it all. So it's a natural progression story-wise, and it's just we find out more about each character. Rita, of course, Rita Farr, can't forget about Rita Farr, aka the Blob. But she's Elastigirl in the comics, but she's really the horror trope, the Blob. But nonetheless, all of these characters, we dive deeper into their past in order to reveal more about their present, and it's done so deftly that that's really what I think I might like most about this. It's so engaging every episode because even though every episode focuses on a different character of the group, it's done so well that it's all engaging to me. Marcia?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, and I feel like, and I hate to say this, but ever since Game of Thrones, like, we're seeing more and more of that in storylines where each episode, and even with, like, The Haunting of Hill House, where every episode is, like, kind of a chapter on a character, which is kind of interesting, but I just hope they don't overdo it, because it can get a little old if you're just like, okay, just tell me a story, I don't need all of this. But I think I agree with you that they do a really well job on it, and I'm surprised you guys are into the Jane story. Is I think she's
at
fascinating.
the end of the season. I felt like they really.
I would say
it,
that's my thing. It's like I'm with that. Towards the end of the season, I felt she had more of that redemption. I couldn't have any really feel for her because basically she was just in that self-loathing. Like she turned into just a junkie. Like that's kind of where she just didn't want to deal with shit. It's like this bullshit. You have to deal with your shit.
But that's a human.
Get your shit together and deal with it.
That's human of all of us, though, right?
Yeah.
You go through, and then her relationship with robot guy.
Cliff.
Yeah.
Well,
literally Robot Man.
That's
exactly,
the father-daughter dynamic and everything. That part of the
And
story
that
I
was
definitely
interesting.
really liked.
She also had some good moments with Larry too, where they went back to the well. I thought that was really
That was
well
well.
done.
I mean,
It was well done.
You're
It's
fired. Get
well.
out.
I just think it's so cool, like the depth of her and what they can do with her because there's so many parts of her and of her story and just going into Jane's world in the underground, and it's like so amazing. And I just love getting more and more of that. But each person's like story, I think Rita's is the only one that I'm just kind of like
A little underdeveloped in this season.
She's just
she's
mommy
not
issues.
at the same level as everyone else, but at the same time I can see where her story would resonate with some viewers. So I don't know, I think the overarching story is just amazing, so I like it. Yes.
Yes, just a quick little thing on the story. That's basically kind of, I already touched on the little couple gripes of the story that I had. Other than that, I thought that this story of the second season was very heartwarming and genuine. My biggest thing was getting to see the resolution of Cliff. That was my favorite thing.
Resolution though?
Well, to a point and everything.
Yeah.
More so than in season 1.
True,
Exactly.
True.
Yeah.
And expanding upon what getting that solid.
Yeah, because
peace
now
of
he
mind
at
with-
least has a foot in the door, kind of aspect. Although it's like, what happened? Like we had with Larry, and that was a stab in the gut. That was pretty shitty of him. But
But at the same time, Larry kind of had it coming. I mean, he's got his own things he has to redeem himself for. Like he can't just expect.
Well, no, but that's what he was at least kind of trying. Yeah, he was fucking beating around the hella bush about it and everything. It's like, just explain your shit, man.
He couldn't get out of his own way, and that's like a common.
But
thing
again,
for
that's
him.
the thing. Like one, actually, I'll bring that up. That is kind of an issue I've had with his character, is that consistent pity woe is me. You've already gone through enough the development of figuring out who you are, but yet at the same time it seems like like every 2 episodes he's just dropping back to what he was.
I know
Conveniently.
people who
I
are
think it's
forever
convenient.
Eeyore, though. I mean,
Yeah, that's
I
true.
know people like that, you know.
Yeah.
I've been there
Well, he is
myself
called the
at times,
negative
you know?
man.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know.
It's a rough
I can-
situation to deal with. What do you
Yeah.
think?
I understand. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, if anyone of us was in that situation, who knows exactly how we would deal with it.
Personally,
But-
Larry's story was I was the most engaged by Larry's story this
Really?
season. Yeah. It was just it hit you so hard. Like, it was like, oh, all the goodness, and then all of a sudden the goodness is like, oh, no.
Yeah, it's just ripped right away.
Yeah, but it was just such strong storytelling, in my opinion. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good enough. Oh, go ahead, Fuego. You
Yeah,
touch on it, then let's
yeah.
segue into the acting, please.
Yeah. No, I'm going to agree with you though. Larry, for me, it was really between Larry and Dorothy, really, and everything, and also her relationship with her father, with Niles and stuff, and like the immense power that she possesses for just all-out destruction, like on a global scale, if not bigger.
Like her
And so-
imaginary friends. I mean, we
Yeah.
haven't
Yeah.
talked about her
Oh,
imaginary
big old
friends.
tarantula dude.
Yeah, that
what's
guy
his
was
name?
pretty cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then also some of the other fiery personalities and stuff without going into it. As much as I love those emotional beats, and I don't want to give Jane a disservice because off camera before Marcia arrived, we were talking about how when they flash back to in the 60s where she meets the street musician Bob Dylan type dude, and then what he kind of forces her into with like that whole group party without getting into too much spoilery stuff. That was just really tough to watch, and the fact that she just friggin' owned it, man, and just stood up for herself like the badass we know her to be. I thought that was really cool.
That was basically like the birth of Jane right there.
Yeah, more or
That's
less.
literally
man.
what that was the development of that new personality.
And I also liked how they would have characters pair off, but then they would switch and pair off with different characters. Like, as much as I love those emotional beats, I love like where Cliff is imagining him and Cyborg being like,
Oh my God, the 70s,
police detectives
yeah.
in the 70s.
That was
and,
hilarious.
Like, that was awesome.
Stone and Steel.
I was trying to remember what the hell it was called, and they're just like high-fiving, and
was so
Niles is
cheesy,
the
but so
Sarge and
awesome.
stuff, asshole Sarge. Like, that stuff was really good, man. And also Dr. Time in that, I think, the second episode, because they have to have disco, dancey, weird numbers here, and also the fact that they brought back so many other characters. They brought back Danny of the Street and gave some more, information
Danny of the
about
Street
him.
is awesome.
The
Danny of the
sex,
Street.
the
Dude,
sex
Flex.
things.
The sex
Flex
guys. We are the
Mentallo.
sex men.
Yeah, that was a ridiculous
Yeah, it was-
episode.
but yet it was so in line with
I
the
feel like
way
it's
the
gonna keep
show
coming back.
does stuff. Yeah. Well, remember
they're
later in the
haunted.
Yeah,
season
it
there
was
was
the
two
running
ghosts
gag, yeah.
that were doing it. And
Yeah.
so,
But
yeah.
that episode did have something to do with Rita's backstory at least. So
Yeah.
that it did serve somewhat of a purpose.
Yeah,
Sorry,
it
we keep
wasn't super.
interrupting.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I
dude.
know.
Yeah,
What was
sorry,
the part that like her G spot almost caused the end of the world?
Yeah,
or something like that.
yeah.
That was pretty funny. So yeah, the story was great in this, and the fact that they just expanded in most cases upon stuff that was laid, and with most notably Cliff and Laird the Trainer. Those are my favorites. So.
And we've kind of touched on the acting a lot
We have.
in our talking about the characters, so I don't know if anyone wants to double down on any of it. I thought everyone, frankly, was excellent.
I would say, I would definitely say everyone was just as equal on par as what we had in the first season. We didn't have really anyone that fell short. I would say even when we had the Beard Hunter come back for that little
For that one little bit.
it just felt right.
Mhm.
I don't know, it was nice.
I thought an
It's
interesting.
fucking disgusting, that character, but
I thought an
That
interesting
guy is
performance.
amazing
It was
actor,
just
though.
dude was in one episode, and he was the guy who Niles thought was like the Ripper way back in, and they jumped into his dimension. He had like this weird like metal.
Oh, yeah,
He was
yeah.
like the torture murderous type guy.
Yeah.
His makeup work and just look of him, but performance wise too, and the fact that he was almost like a pseudo Pinhead type, and just the pain and the torture and the harm and all that stuff. And when they all started sprouting those butterfly wings
That
and
was
stuff, I'm guessing
That
that's why
was
that
a
was all in
really
the marketing
cool
material.
episode,
so.
Yeah. God, there's so that even for such a short season, it was packed full of so much wonderful things, and that's just a testament of the show. Is like each episode was its own mini story, and I'm glad you brought up the fact of the different pair-offs, because when you pair off the different characters, it gives you so much more room to do different things and match up their personalities, and what would happen if Cliff and
Cliff and Jane go on a road trip,
right,
or
or Rita and Larry. Well, those ones are normally together, but you know what I mean.
but more of their backstory where they
switch 'em
first met
around,
and stuff.
yeah.
That was really
you
good.
you're switching everybody around, and you're mixing up the bag, and you're just coming up with their own new stories and building bonds together that they didn't have before, and I don't know, it's a lot more organic.
Yeah.
It's life organic.
Oh yeah.
And then obviously sound design, on a technical level, it's phenomenal. It's definitely of the HBO ilk, even though it was technically made for the DC Universe app. It's HBO level effects.
Spare no expense.
Yeah,
exactly.
for real.
and why the third season is already confirmed exclusively for HBO Max.
I would hope so.
Yeah. Well, is it but do we know how long the season's going to be? Is it
That's
a full
one
season?
thing that they didn't say.
They
Yeah,
haven't said that,
and I also saw somebody mention in the review for our first season that the season 2 was cut short by COVID. No, season 2 came out in 2019.
No,
so.
season 2 was cut short for the same reason that Swamp Thing was. I think they cut one episode off. It was supposed to be 10 instead of 9.
Oh, okay.
But they
I think
dropped
it
it
was
down to
budgetary
9.
constraints,
Yeah, I
right?
think it was budgetary issues again, just like Swamp Thing ended up
And
happening.
Hence why now it's on HBO. And
Yeah.
it's
Now it's not going to have budgetary
Throw
issues
the monies
anymore,
at
so-
it.
Hey,
Warner
why
Brothers
don't you guys
money.
pick up Swamp Thing?
Well, CW I think is likely gonna because it's been
I know they.
killing it on CW.
Yeah.
Okay, I know
Because they relaunched it
Yeah, I
recently
saw
on
that
CW,
and everything.
yeah.
I'm
Are they-
just, man, I'm still just worried about
The ratings are so high on
Are they?
CW, they're gonna
Okay.
definitely. I guarantee
Is-
we'll get a
Well,
continuation.
as long
Are
as
they
they just keep
censoring it
the
at
same
all?
formula and do
Mhm.
exactly what they
no,
did
no
originally.
censoring. They're just representing it.
Okay, because I know like Titans is like very R-rated and Doom Patrol's very R-rated.
Yeah, Swamp
but-
Thing wasn't like cursey R-rated.
Okay.
It was
It was
just
just
it was
violence
just super
and
dark.
gore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched the first
Yeah.
episode and didn't continue,
So
unfortunately.
good.
Just like a lot of people. That's why I got canceled.
Yeah, exactly. It's your fault.
I know.
But effects-wise, this show
Yeah.
it continues to be phenomenal. I mean, even beyond the technical aspects, the effects are just super engaging. I mean, you guys all agree?
Oh,
I would,
yeah.
especially I would say the our final episode at the carnival.
Oh, that's horrible.
Oh man,
Yeah,
Cliff's
after-
imaginary
a-
friend Jesus.
Oh
man.
my God, yeah.
Oh.
You had me for one summer, and what? Just blow me off.
Jesus is just dropping
great.
F-bombs
Yeah.
and beating the shit out of
Yeah,
him.
he's like, "This is you're all I had," and then my dad was coming back, and so he kicked me to the curb.
That was pretty great.
Yeah. But without going too much, because there's some stuff with Dorothy and whatnot that's pretty spoiler heavy.
I thought her
would
makeup
honestly
work was
say.
really good.
Her
I thought
makeup
she-
work, she was in effect.
Her makeup
really,
work and
I mean,
everything,
the
but it's her
practical
imaginary friends though.
Yeah, her imaginary friends were all
Like,
effects as well. Yeah.
That,
so.
but what we got.
The
for-
main one is
Ooh.
dope. Like the main.
The wish man.
the-
What would you call them? The wish. The wish
no, the
masters.
bunny thing, like the big what was that big creature that kept showing? Not a bunny, but what was
Oh,
it?
he was like basically
The
a
jackalope kind of thing.
basically a
Yeah,
wolf
yeah.
jackalope
Giant-
thing, because
yeah.
it was her mother's friend,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
everything that was passed down, and then that happened. But no,
Yeah.
the big
And-
baddie, that guy.
Well, yeah, Candleman.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what it was. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, he looked really good.
So yeah,
Despite being CGI, I mean, this is really quality CGI.
Because
and-
we have some shit like, especially the sorry, I didn't mean
No,
to
you're
cut
good,
you
you're
off.
good, you're good.
I was just that thought of when we the intermix of Dorothy's imaginary friends with what happens with Jane.
Mhm.
Like now that was a hell of a thing to happen in this season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Music is still great on
Yeah,
this
sorry.
show.
Yeah.
Just the selection of popular tunes, whether it's like Working for the Weekend or like, disco songs like Bad Girl Can Sing, and where they're at the roller rink in that second episode with Dr. Time and stuff. I mean, this show just makes me happy, and then it also just thrusts me into these emotional pitfalls where I'm so sympathetic to the characters, and the tunes in this show always help that. Not quite as many, I think, as in the previous season, but still really effectively used.
yeah.
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy 2, that.
Yeah. Very, very good example, sir.
But nonetheless, guys, Doom Patrol Season 2 still remains very much worth your time. If you haven't checked out Doom Patrol, make the time. It is really very much worth it. Only 2 seasons to catch up on before HBO throws another brand new season at you, but with HBO production value this time. Really exciting. So thank you guys very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, click the like button and subscribe. And ding that notification bell if you want to make sure you don't miss out on future episodes here on our lovely new studio.
Yeah.
We're about to record a number of other reviews, so wish us luck and come on back to see how they turn out. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Cecil Laird.
Marcia Parker.
Robert Duell.
Gracias, Jaime, Fuego.
And remember, stay scared.